I cannot forgive the cruelty and the gaslighting and the theft of my childhood. But I absolutely do not need to live there anymore and move past it. Like, I'm talking about it a lot now, right? I have talked about this more in the last 2 months than I have in the last 10 years. It's just part of this whole process, right?
Yeah.
I have worked really hard to not let this be the thing that like is constantly buzzing around my head. Like, I've described my anxiety as a little swarm of bees that's kind of always around my head, right? And sometimes they're really loud and they're really swarming, and other times they're like super cool and relaxed. You know?
Yeah.
But they're always there.
I can relate.
They're always there, and they're always ready to swarm and go bananas. Like, that's just part of, the way my brain takes care of itself. Like, all of this stuff is just, it's gonna be part of me no matter what. And I have to think about, like, what am I gonna do? And how am I going to move forward with all of this? I don't forgive it because it's unforgivable. Like, it's in the book. I don't want to talk about it because it's really upsetting and re-traumatizing, but it's in the book. They participated in my sister and me being abused on the set of a movie. They allowed it to happen. They did not take us off the set. They did not protect us. They failed in the number one responsibility that parents have for children, which is to protect them and keep them safe. And they didn't. They sold me to this production company, and then just kind of threw my sister in also, like, because they wanted the money and my mom wanted a trip, right? It's unforgivable stuff. It's terrible, inexcusable things, traumatic moments that, like, for decades, I was like, I really need to talk about this thing that happened on the set of this movie, because it was super upsetting to me. And the way that mom would reply to it was, well, that was really hard for all of us. Oh, okay. I'm sure it was really hard for you as a woman in her 30s and an adult who's not being forced to work 3 units at the same time when they're 13. And they're being, like, regularly abused by like the director of the movie. I'm sure it was really hard on you.
It all becomes about her. It always goes back to them.
All of it. And I write about this too. There's a thing in the book where I directly address her and I say, like, listen, I really want to believe so much that part of you is saying, oh my God, I just hadn't thought about it this way, or like,
not capable,
or like, yes, that is, or I'm sorry, or whatever. But the reality is, the woman I knew for 46 years is just so heavily invested in her victim narrative